Tale of Rumplestiltskin. A long time ago, when magic really happened, and when ordinary boys and girls could grow up to become kings and queens, there lived a poor miller whose days were spent grinding wheat into flour. Each long day, from dawn till dusk, the miller sat and worked at his trade, and while doing so, dreamed that he was a great hero or a mighty king. Sometimes, his dreams seemed so real to him that he would actually talk and act like a hero or a king, and forgot that he was only a poor miller.
What a great hero I am! The bravest man that the world has ever known.
Now, although the miller exaggerated and pretended too much, he was a good man. He was well loved by his very beautiful daughter and popular with his friends and neighbors. And whatever small living he managed to earn was usually spent on his daughter. A necklace for her slender neck, a ring for her dainty finger, and if ever a neighbor needed help, the miller would be right there, doing whatever he could. But always, wherever he was, and no matter what he was doing, the miller dreamed out loud, boasting and bragging of his wonderful deeds, just as though they were real. One day, the miller found himself near the castle, just as the king and the guards were coming by.
Imagine what it would be like to speak to the king. But what could I say to such a great and mighty ruler?
Out of the way, citizens! The king is passing this way!
Try as he did, the miller could think of nothing whatever to say to the king, so he merely bowed his head as the procession approached. But unfortunately, the miller could not hold his tongue, and as the procession passed by, he blurted out,
"Oh, mighty king, I have the most amazing thing to tell you!"
And what amazing thing could a miller have to tell a king?
I have a beautiful daughter, your majesty, and she can spin straw into gold.
Straw into gold, you say? How clever she must be. By royal command, bring your daughter to the castle tomorrow at this very time, and I will put her to the test.
The king and his royal guard passed by, leaving the miller shaking in his shoes at the lie he had told.
Oh, now I am in for it. Lying to the king is a capital crime. And what shall I tell my daughter? Alas, I am finished.
The miller walked home slowly, wondering what to say to his daughter. Wisely, he decided to say nothing to her about spinning straw into gold. Instead, he walked into his little house and excitedly said,
"Daughter, what a lucky lass you are. Today I had occasion to speak with the king, and when I told him of your great beauty, he commanded me to bring you to the castle."
"Father dear, there you go again, pretending as always. Come now, have a cup of vegetable broth by the fire. Then you can tell me what really happened today."
I can hardly blame you for not believing me, daughter, but you must come with me to the castle tomorrow. Then you'll see that the king really does want to see you.
The next day, the miller and his daughter arrived at the castle of the king. The daughter, expecting nothing at all to happen, felt uneasy among all the riches. But imagine her shock when the king entered the room.
Young lady, I have been waiting for you. Come with me now.
And without a word, the king led the miller's daughter to a small chamber filled with straw, a spinning wheel, and reels. The bewildered girl simply stared at the king.
You must begin at once. According to your father, this is all you need to spin this straw into gold. And let me warn you, if by morning the task is not done, you shall be severely punished.
But, your majesty...
Not another word, young lady. You have heard my command. And a king's command is law.
Alone in the chamber, the miller's daughter wept bitterly. "Oh, father, look what your silly boasting and pretending has done now. What am I to do? No one can spin straw into gold. Oh, no." And the poor girl threw her head into her hands and wept. She wept so loudly that she didn't hear the door open, nor did she see the little man who entered the room.
Good evening, miller's daughter. What is all this sobbing about?
The girl's eyes flew open, and she stared in astonishment at the elf-like creature standing before her. "Why, who are you?"
Who I am doesn't matter. What matters is why you are so miserable.
You would be miserable, too, if you had to spin the room of straw into gold, and I must finish by morning, or else I will be severely punished.
Oh, that is a problem, but I think I can help. What will you give me if I spin this straw into gold for you?
Do you mean it? Can you really do it?
Give me something. Then just sit back and watch.
Here, little man, take my necklace. It's very pretty. The little man took the necklace, sat down at the spinning wheel and began to spin. And soon the first reel was filled with gold, then the next, and then the next, until by morning all the straw had been spun into gold. Where are you going, little man? How can I possibly thank you? I don't even know your name. But as quickly as he had appeared, the little man disappeared without a word. Almost immediately, the king entered the chamber and looked around greedily.
What a clever, talented girl you are. At this rate, I could become the richest king in any kingdom.
And the king took the miller's daughter to an even larger room, filled with even more straw, and said,
I order you to work through the night and spin all this straw into gold. Do as I say if you value your life.
Again, the girl had no idea what to do, which caused her to weep all over again. And again, as she wept,
Miller's daughter, what will you give me this time if I spin all this straw into gold?
Oh, I'm so happy to see you, little man. Here, take this lovely ring from my finger. It's all that I have.
No.
The little man took the ring and began to spin the straw into gold. By morning, the job was done, and again, the little man disappeared without a word, just before the king entered the chamber.
Look at all this wonderful gold. What a gorgeous sight.
But the greedy king was still not satisfied. So he took the miller's daughter into yet another chamber, filled with straw, one that was twice the size of the last one.
Miller's daughter, now this straw must be spun into gold. But this time, if you succeed, I shall make you my wife.
Your wife? Does this mean that I shall be queen?
Yes, dear girl, I'll be happy to marry such a clever, pretty girl. And I shall be a very rich king.
This time the girl did not weep, but waited patiently for the little man to come.
Hello, Miller's daughter. What will you give me this time?
I have nothing left at all, little man. But if you wait until I'm queen, I shall give you any treasure you want.
If you become queen, Miller's daughter, there is only one treasure that I would want from you. You must promise to give me your firstborn child. I will accept nothing else.
The miller's daughter didn't like this idea, but she agreed to the promise. After all, once she was queen, she could persuade the little man to change his mind. And so, with a great deal of worrying that lasted through the night, the little man once again spun all the straw into gold. The king was beside himself with joy, so happy, in fact, that he declared that he would marry the miller's daughter that very week. The royal wedding was a grand affair, and the whole kingdom celebrated and welcomed its new queen. In a year's time, the royal couple gave birth to a beautiful baby boy. The queen was so happy that she forgot all about the little man and the promise she had made long ago. So imagine her surprise and horror when one night, as she sat rocking her baby, the little man suddenly appeared.
I have come, Queen, to take what you promised to give me.
Oh, no! 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 You may have my jewels, my royal crown, anything, but not my baby. Please, little man, take pity on me.
I have no desire for jewels or crowns. Something living is what I want. What is alive is dearer to me than anything else. Well, I'll take pity on you. I'll give you 3 days to learn my name. If you can do this, you can keep your child.
Immediately, the queen gathered her most trusted messengers and told them to go to the farthest corners of the kingdom to find unusual names. When the little man appeared the next morning, the queen was ready for him.
Well, Queen, do you know my name?
Your name is Melifo, or Azabab, or Capri. Mauritius, or Balathorm, or Baltimore, or perhaps it's Zirconium.
No, Queen, it's none of these. You're not even close. In fact, you'll never get it.
Then come again tomorrow. Tomorrow I will know your name. That night, the Queen sent twice as many messengers, twice as far as the night before. By the time the little man returned in the morning, the Queen was prepared with a long list of odd names.
Well, Queen, have you found out my name?
Your name must be Wigglewort, or Stugin, or Appleweed.
None of these, my lady.
Then Broganshire, or Catherfrip, or Mellerion, or Eberstrom.
No, my lady, no. Not Broganshire, or Catherfrip, or Mellerion, or Everstrom.
Then it has to be Parlarium.
No, it is not Parlarium. Tomorrow is your last chance. Then your child shall be mine.
The Queen wept bitterly, but being strong, she soon pulled herself together and summoned her most trusted messenger. Dear messenger, you are my last hope. Get your fastest horse and ride like the wind. Stop every stranger you meet and ask his name, the name of his father and that of his son. Bring back any name you have not heard. Hurry. Ride till your horse can carry you no further. And be sure you return to me by the first light of dawn. The messenger returned at dawn and went to the Queen.
My lady, I fear that I failed you. I was unable to find even one new name. But one odd thing did happen. Around midnight, my horse grew so weary that I dismounted. I walked up a steep, rocky hill, and at the very top was a little sod cottage with a blazing fire before it.
Was anyone there?
Yes, that's the strange part. As I watched from behind a rock, a most ridiculous little man came out of the hut and began prancing around the fire, chanting these words. Today I bake, tomorrow I brew, and then I shall take the Queen's child fair. For the one very thing that the Queen never knew is that Rumplestiltskin is the name I bear.
That's it! That must be his name. Thank you, dear messenger. Thank you. You shall be well rewarded. But go now, quick, before the little man comes. Shortly afterwards, the little man appeared.
Well, your majesty, this is your last chance. Now, tell me, what is my name?
Is it Adam?
No, Queen, it is not Adam.
Is it Brian or Nicholas?
No, Queen, it is neither of those. You're wasting my time. Give up. You'll never guess my name.
All right, then. I will give up after one final guess.
All right. Have it your way. What is it?
Is your name, by chance, Rumplestiltskin?
Who told you? Who dared to give you my name? You must be a witch with terrible powers. I hate you.
The little man's anger grew into such a terrible rage that right before the Queen's eyes, he disappeared in a puff of smoke and was never seen or heard from again. With that, the Queen went to the King and told him the whole story, especially that there would be no more gold. Instead of becoming angry, the King hugged his beautiful wife and child and said,
My greed nearly cost me the things I prize most, my lovely queen and my beautiful child. No amount of gold could ever compare with the happiness I have now. You are my real treasures.
And so, they all lived happily ever after.
Oh, sorry.